DA Fani Willis has been subpoenaed again to testify about a divorce that she's not involved in. It's like she has an ex-wife. Fulton County DA Fani Willis and the special prosecutor she hired for the Georgia election interference case against former President Trump and his cronies. They have now been issued subpoenas by the defense attorney who has alleged Willis and the prosecutor had an inappropriate romantic relationship. Now, once again, zero evidence has been produced of this by way of any of the motion filings. There's more. So lawyer Ashley Merchant, who represents Trump co-defendant Michael Roman, filed a motion on the 8th of January, remember, seeking to dismiss the indictment and to remove Willis and special prosecutor Nathan Wade from the case. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee, who's presiding over the election case, has now ordered Willis and the team to respond by Friday to the motion and to remove Willis from the prosecution. He has set a hearing on the matter for the 15th of this month. Merchant confirmed that she has subpoenaed both Willis and the special prosecutor, Mr. Wade, to testify at the hearing. Merchant's law firm also filed a lawsuit Tuesday accusing Willis's office of failing to comply with the Georgia Open Records Act, saying they, quote, appear to be intentionally withholding information that she has requested. So Willis spokesperson Jeff DeSantis declined to comment on the subpoenas, but disputed Merchant's Open Records claim, quote, we've provided her with the information she's entitled to, he said, adding that some of the records are still being compiled. He provided a letter that he said the office sent to Merchant last week, providing an update on the status of the request she made, as well as screenshots showing that Merchant had accessed some records. Neither Willis nor Wade has publicly addressed the allegations of an inappropriate relationship. Willis's office has repeatedly said it would respond to Roman's motion in a court filing. So Willis, an elected Democrat, hired Wade in November 2021 to help her with the investigation into the efforts Trump and his cronies engaged in to overturn the 2020 election. Since the Fulton County grand jury in August returned an indictment against Trump and 18 others, Wade has led the team of lawyers Willis assembled to prosecute the case. Trump has seized on the allegations as he campaigns for the Republican nomination for president, trying to use them, talking about these allegations, to cast doubt on the legitimacy of the case against him. This is the very common look at the messenger, not the message. 4 co-defendants have already pleaded guilty, however, after reaching plea deals with prosecutors. Trump and the others who remain have pleaded not guilty. No proof of the alleged relationship was included in the motion. Willis spoke out during a church service nearly a week later, defended Wade's qualifications, but did not address the allegations of a relationship. Now, remember I broke down the cause and effect here. You had an initial motion filed by Mr. Roman's attorney on the last day that you could file pre-trial motions. The motion should have been dismissed based on the fact it did not address an issue in statute, nor an issue in constitution or civil rights or fact. It did not address those things. So it should have been dismissed. It was not dismissed. And they said, listen, we don't have any information, we just have rumor. Somebody told us and they're very credible, should have been dismissed on the fact motions do not carry that way. If a motion could carry that way, understand that means any attorney could file a motion like that anytime there's a prosecutor and a prosecutor. Hey, Your Honor, I think they're sleeping together. Here's my motion. That would be insane, right? But it was allowed to stand as far as it being, adjudicated eventually. In the process of that, DA Fani Willis seemingly addressed it at Bethel AME Church in Atlanta, Georgia. What happened? The files actually get open in Cobb County, talking about the divorce record of Mr. Wade that was sealed. It gets open. The defense, they got their wish. They said it was there. There's no there. Fonnie Willis is not mentioned. Hundreds of pages. She was telling the truth. They were making up a narrative. But second motion comes. What is the second motion? Extrajudicial comments of a prosecutor violating the special rules governing prosecutorial conduct in the state of Georgia. That provides an actual opening to make the next motion, which is to have the DA removed. The Attorney General, Chris Carr, Republican, would then statutorily be in the position to appoint a special prosecutor or make himself the prosecutor. All right, hell of a thing. It won't go away. Obviously, it's here to stay. This has to be like the divorce of the decade at least. And we don't know the parties involved. What say you?
No, I mean, I think it is, look, it is a massive distraction from this entire case. Yeah. We all know this. We all know that they're going after DA Fonnie Willis on purpose. Look, I just want to say that the relationship between DAs and prosecutors are generally fairly tight and close. Is that good? I don't know in all cases, but generally that's what happens, right? This is a prosecutor carrying out this case that was brought by the DA. It makes sense. Now, if they had a personal, intimate relationship, is that somehow like a conflict of interest? I don't know. I actually don't know, and I don't really care. I am curious, as you sort of laid out in not layman's terms, in sort of very legal terms, as to whether or not this is going to play out, like whether or not they'll, Republicans will successfully basically take down Fonnie Willis. It doesn't change the facts of the case, and it doesn't change the fact that 4 people already pleaded guilty in this massive scheme. I'm a little salty against DA Fonnie Willis for other reasons, which is a prosecution of people who are trying to stop the construction of Cop City. I think so that's sort of tainting my views on how I feel about the whole system here, Doc. But
understandable.
It does just seem like, and we all know it's just a smoke bomb. It's a distraction from what's this actual case.
Yeah, and as you said, it doesn't change the facts of the case. It also doesn't change the rights of the defendant. Usually you file a motion because your defendant has been adversely impacted because of some level of misconduct against the defendant, not against the county policy as it relates to relationships, not against a company policy or a DA's policy as it relates to personal affiliation. It actually hurts the client. That has not been made here, at least not in direct terms. All right, we'll bring you updates. I'm guaranteed updates are coming.